slice it, hence a conic section. When I slice it, this produces a section of the cone, hence why we call it conic section. The way we slice it will determine the type of shape it forms when you open it. Now, there's a nifty YouTube video we could watch on this, but we really don't really have to look at it now. All we care about is, okay, what do you need me to know? Well, when it comes to a parabola, we know a parabola to, of course, look like this. What you didn't know with parabolas is there's actually a lot more to it than a vertex. And there are currently 3 different formulas for a parabola that you have learned. I'm going to add yet another formula. Let me just show you the formula now. This looks kind of familiar. There's an H and K there. It's kind of positioned kind of differently, but that's an H and a K. However, there is an added a new bonus of a weird thing here. And we're going to use... we'll stick to black. There's this weird P business, 4P. It's always 4, and it is always a P there. As far as what this weird P represents, we'll get to it. But this would normally be what A is. But we're not calling it A this time. We're calling it P. Okay. Let's ignore that for now. Let's look at this over here. To sketch this parabola, there are 2 secret aspects that you didn't know. Inside the parabola, there is an imaginary dot that is, let's say the distance here. I'm not going to tell you yet. There is another thing here that is an imaginary line. When it comes to architecture and drafting is I think that's the thing they call it when you're drawing as an architect. You would use this thing and this thing to sketch this parabola. Basically, using this distance and this distance away from this thing allows us, dictates the rest of this entire parabola of how to draw it. I'm going to show a quick video later on of how a person might draw it. But for now, these 2 things are there. There is a name for these 2 things. This dot inside the parabola. This is called the focus of the parabola. This weird imaginary line, it's not an asymptote, but it's like an asymptote in the sense that you can't see it, but it's there. It has a weird, funky name. We call this Directrix. What? The focus being inside the parabola, the Directrix is the weird dash line opposite of that. Here is where P comes into play. The distance from this vertex to the focus, this is P. The distance from the vertex to the directrix is negative P. Basically, they are equidistant from the vertex itself. And the P represents that distance. Last year, we introduced another type of parabola. Draw a straight line, Mr. Viernes. we had the sleeping parabola or the sideways parabola. And this also has a focus. Ugh. And it also has a directrix. And alternatively, this distance is also P, and this distance is also P. I know I'm really off scale here, but just imagine those are the same distance. I'm just making it better. Hold on. There we go. Stop. Keep giving it a tail. Thank you. Negative P. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. And usually, if this was the middle of a regular class, I'd be like, all right, guys, by the context of what's going on, what would be the equation of this one below? If you could type it in 5 seconds, great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is going to be y minus k squared equals 4p parentheses x minus h. Essentially, they have now switched spots. We have the vertical parabola up here, and this is now the horizontal parabola. In both cases, hk is the vertex. Um, P. Focus is P units away. Negative P. Focus. No. Directrix is negative P units away. And right smack in the middle of it is the vertex in between them. Okay. Find the focus, directrix, and then sketch. X minus 3 squared equals 8y. Well, here's a weird thing. I like to tell students to do this first. Sketch what you know now. Okay. In other words, well, if I try to quickly sketch this, we first need to know what type of parabola it is. Where's the vertex? Is it 3, 0, negative 3, 0? Is it 0, 3, 0, negative 3? Thanks. 0, 3. No! 3, 0. 30. H is 3, K is 0. Now, we also need to now know whether this is facing up, down, left, or right. This is very important because it'll tell us exactly where everything else is. The vertex is 3, 0. We want to know the focus, and we want to know where the directrix is. It's facing up, and we can kind of give it a weird sketch right here. Ugh, this looks stupid. But we now know where the focus is going to be. It's going to be inside the parabola facing up somewhere here. We know the focus will be here, and we know the directrix is down here. The question is, what exactly are they? Well, to find this, I need to know what's P? Question mark. It's 2. Taking 8 and making it equal to 4P, I get P is equal to 2. So I now know exactly where the focus is and where the directrix is. Taking a look, if the vertex is 3, 0 over here, the focus will be 2 units above. So this is going to be 2. This is going to be -2 because that's what P is. The focus is going to be 5. No. Wow. No. 3, 2. And the directrix, keep in mind the directrix is a horizontal line. The directrix is y is equal to -2. And there's our answer. You just have to take this assignment very slow because even I almost made the mistake. I almost wrote 5-0. Before you, if you even write 5-0, go back and check. Would 5-0 have made sense? That means you're telling me the focus is over here. It can't be there because it's facing upward. Can I clear this screen? Actually, I think I learned how to. There we go. Anyway, can I move on? No objections? TikTok, won't you stop us the party all night? Okay, this is gonna be annoying. Y plus 3 squared equals 1/2 parentheses x minus 5. I like to sketch it first because it'll help me locate and roughly eyeball where everything is. The vertex 5, -3. They have been switched because this is a sideways parabola. Actually, can I make it -1/2? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. There's my vertex. Stop doing that. Okay. There's my vertex. We now know this thing is going to be facing left because it's negative, which now tells us its focus will be somewhere here, and its directrix will be to the right here. Now, if we take a look at this, this is -1/2. What we're trying to do now is figure out what P is by doing a little math. P is -1/8. Ew. -1/8, which tells us the focus is super, super close to the vertex. It's literally right on top of it. I can't remember what the relationship is. The farther the focus is, the more narrow, and the closer it is, the more wide. I don't remember what the relationship is. It's some weird drafty thingy. I can't think in my head right now. Does anyone have a guess? The farther the focus is it going to be wider, or I think it's wider. Whatever. I think it's wider, and the closer it is, it should be more narrow. Anyway, it means the directrix is somewhere here. So we have to do a little bit of math here. This is -1/8. When I say math, I mean arithmetic. If we think about it, we notice that the -3 is not changing for the focus. The closer the directrix is, the wider it is. Oh, so I'm right. It's wider then. Okay, cool. Thanks. So the focus would be 5 minus 1/8. Here's 5, and we're going to subtract 1/8 from it. And for the directrix, it's adding 1/8 to it. Well, we're pretty good at math. 5 minus 1/8 is 4 7/8, baby. 4 7/8 comma -3. If I add 1/8, the directrix is the vertical line. X is equal to 5 1/8. If you really want to be fancy and change it to a decimal or even a mixed fraction, no, an improper fraction, by all means, go ahead. But I think 4 7/8 makes sense to in my head. And directrix for 5 1/8. It's basically 1/8 this way and 1/8 that way. I think you're right. Yeah, closer to directrix, the wider it would be. So then I'm right that this is a wider directrix. Okay. Let's go the opposite direction. What if the question says write the equation? Oh my God. Given. What if the focus is 1, 3, and the vertex is 6, 3? Well, first and foremost, what kind is this? Is it vertical or horizontal? There are a few students that can immediately look at these 2 points and go, "Oh, it's vertical," because you kind of have that weird spatial thinking. For me, I need to see it. Like people that are, I think CP, you said you're interested in art. Some people in art, they're very good at imagining things without even looking at it first, because then it comes in their head first and then they draw it. Anyone know just by not even sketching it, you know this is vertical or horizontal. The reason why we need to know if it's vertical or horizontal. Yeah, okay. So, but some people can't think that way. For me, I actually need to draw it to make sure if I know it's vertical or horizontal. So, is this facing up, down, left, or right? Because it'll help us determine which equation we're using. Is it going to be the vertical equation or the horizontal equation? If we don't know the answer, we're going to just sketch these two things. The focus is 1, 3. The vertex is 6, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If this is the vertex and the focus, this is a horizontal parabola facing left. Actually, it would be more narrow, right? So this, of course, tells us which equation we're going to use. We're going to use y minus k squared equals 4px minus h. So fill in the blanks. We know hk. Do we know p? What is p? Anybody can tell me what p is? Try again, maybe. Thank you. Negative p. Why is it negative? It's facing. You mean leftward, not inward. -5. And this distinction is important because, well, first of all, we would write -20 here. But of course, it also tells us that this is going to be it's going to be facing leftward. Not just 20, it's -20. If you put +20, it's technically incorrect. Now, this doesn't ask for the directrix, but we can find a directrix. The directrix would be, if it's going 5 left, the directrix is 5 to the right. It would be x is equal to 11. 11 thirds. What? Oh, 11 comma. Thank you. Sorry. 11 comma 3. No, it's a line. It's a line. It's a line. It's not a point. X equals 11. See, I made that mistake earlier in 5th period that I mistook it for a point, but it's actually a line. Directrix is a line. What if you have the vertex? What if all you have actually is the focus? Excuse me. And the directrix. The focus is -2, -3, and the directrix is -7. Y is equal to -7. Same question. What kind of parabola is this? By what kind? This was horizontal up here. Is this vertical, horizontal? I'm running out of time. I got like 8 minutes left. This is, if we quickly sketch it, the focus is -2, -3. The directrix is all the way down here, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ugh. Taking a look at this, the vertex should be where? Should be somewhere in between them. -2, -5. Let's make sure. The distance between the focus and the directrix, this is -3 all the way to -7. This whole distance is negative or 4. So that means the vertex must be right in smack in the middle of it, in which you guessed it, -2, -5. Remember, vertex between focus and the directrix. It's right in between them. So the red dot represents my vertex and it's facing upwards like this. The vertex you said -2, -5. And now we have our equation. Ooh, what's P? Two. So we get parentheses. See, I've taught this for years and I'm still having to keep track of everything here. This type of problem, basically, it's a lot of your organization of data in your brain and on your paper. Conceptually, not too difficult. It's just keeping track. Okay, what's my directrix? The directrix is here. It's facing upwards. It's facing down. Which P is this? And then yada yada yada. X plus 2 squared equals -8. Y plus 5. So even if this was an open note test or quiz, it still takes a lot of organization to answer this. Yeah, -8. -4 times 2. Oh, negative. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. You're right. +8. Thank you. I don't know why I said negative. I think I got negative because I thought P was -2. But then no, it's +2 because it's facing upwards. Yikes-a-roo. See, I'm still making mistakes with this thing. Just this assignment is all about being super careful. You're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. Check your answers as always with my answer keys. I wanted to show you guys that a quick video of a guy drawing this using a Directrix and whatnot. How do I look at my history? Library? Here we go.
This distance here is P, and on this...
Shut up. Hold on. Share. Window. Share. Okay.
This is +1 right there, and at -1, we're going to make our fixed line.
Even at double speed,
which is our Directrix.
So long doing it.
And then
okay. Focus and Directrix, as we see here.
Halfway between them, and I've made it really simple on this one. So, and in the simple example,
okay.
This key here, this lattice rectum, this is really that distance and that distance, and that gives me 2 points on my parabola. And so then I've got 3 points on my parabola, and I can start to draw it. So there I've got a point on my parabola, and there I've got another point on my parabola. Now freehanding parabolas is pretty difficult. I kind of want this overall shape like that. So I want to start off horizontal, and then I want to go up, and I think it helps me to do it this way.
See, he cheated. What he's basically supposed to do is, where'd you do it? Okay.
And I can start to draw it. So
the focus is where you start, and then if you go 10 units or a certain amount of units this way, and then you track a certain amount of units this way, it's basically how far this is. That's 4 units. I think that determines the point of which.
There I've got a point on my parabola.
Okay, yeah. So how far this is, I think that's P. I think.
And
God, hold on.
There I've got another point on my parabola. Now freehanding parabolas is pretty difficult. I kind of want this overall shape like that. So I want to start off horizontal, and then I want to go up, and I think it helps me to do it this way.
I think this is something you learn in art class, where if you do something
like that
from this, and then make some other weird shape. I don't know.
Come a little bit deeper like that.
Anyway, this is what the focus and parabola, the focus and Directrix does. It dictates the wideness and shape of the parabola. I can't remember the actual rule of how he figures out this distance and this distance, but of course it has to do with the directrix and stuff. You're not required to do that. All we really care about is the actual drawing, the actual equations and how to find the focus and how to find the directrix and stuff. The drafting drawing aspect, we're not going to be too keen on. Okay. Are there any questions or concerns about anything in general or the lesson?